Hi. My name is Betty Scotia, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and the team leader for the Power of Positive Inking. It is Monday night, September 16th at about 7:30 p.m., which is my go-to time. Hey, Maureen. Thanks for hanging in there. Hang in there one more second. All right, there we go. Okay, I just want to make sure that I can see if anybody has any questions. And you might have questions because I'm not sure how well I prepared for this. So, in any case, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I started playing around today with a die set that I had a vision for, and I don't know. Let's see what you think. All right. So, yeah, let's just get started. How's that sound? Let's just get started. Let me flip. Boom. Desk. Okay, here we go. That was, hey, Linda. Welcome. That was not very smooth, was it? I'm going to work on maybe some ways to make my transition a little smoother. But thanks for bearing with me. All right, here's my information. Betty Scotia at bettyboop.stampinup.net. Here's my September code. We can talk about that in the end. Thanks, Virginia. Virginia's discussing my hair. I gave up. Last week I said, cut it, make it short. And she did. So it is short. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. What I'm going to play with tonight, this is part of it, but actually kind of a small part of it. Yeah, well, let's start with this, okay? So these together, this is a sophisticated sled, and you can get the sophisticated sled bundle, which includes these dies and this stamp set. If you go to my online store, or whomever your demonstrator is, go to their online store. And it's under online exclusives. So it's not found in a catalog. Not sure why. It's one of my absolute favorites. But it is available. It doesn't matter. It's still available. You can get it by going to the online exclusives. And the bundle together is $53. There are times that I say, oh, the dies are more important than the stamp set, or the stamp set is more important than the dies. In this case, they absolutely work perfectly together. If you love this, you absolutely should get the two together, because you definitely will be able to do a lot with this. Now, I believe that I've already posted a little bit on this, but I can't remember if that was for my team or if that was for everybody. So I'm going to revisit it a few times, and if it's stuff you've seen before, you're going to just continue to love it. Virginia's agreeing with me as well. This is a really, really good set. Okay, so that's part of what I'm using, but that I've used before. So what I'm playing with today really are a couple of things that I haven't played with and definitely not shared with you yet. So let me pull forward some of the new stuff. Okay. I shouldn't say every catalog. For the time being, Stampin' Up! With every catalog is having a product that they are calling their give back product, which means that for every product purchased, that a certain percentage will go towards a charity. So this year, and in this catalog, it is the Sentimental Christmas, which involves this paper right here. They're 12 by 12 sheets of paper. And the pack of paper is $12.50. But $3 from every package is going to be donated to children's literacy, which I think is a really significant amount. I'm proud of Stampin' Up! For doing that. So this is the paper I wanted to show you. To me, it has a really retro feel to it. Let me see if I can pull out the 6 sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is 6 sheets. Well, it is definitely 6 sheets. I'm hoping that they're all different patterns. Okay, candles. We might have discussed this last week because I was discussing the candles that I used to have in my windows growing up. And if you did too, you know what I'm talking about. You're my age. Okay, little reindeer. Oh, I know I showed these before because I can remember the comments that I said. Some really nice retro trees. This that definitely is not ribbon candy, but has that look and feel. What's this? What's the other side of this? Oh, pretty like, you know, flowery. Which way does that go? I guess any way you want it to go. Flowery, like Christmas flowers and ribbon. And then finally the classic Christmas stocking, right? And then the back side is sort of a little bit more neutral. This is screaming to be made into a scrapbook page. More on scrapbooking moving forward in the next couple of months. I'm really starting to get the bug to do some more scrapbooking, and Stampin' Up! Is providing a lot more products, so I think it's a sign. I should be scrapping more. Anyway, in any case, this would make a really good scrapbook page, as well as some really simple. If you cut this DSP, could make some really just simple cards. Classic stripes. I love this. This might be my favorite side of all the paper. I just love the colors in it. I think it's so pretty. This nicely complements that. It's the same color combination going on in these two. This looks like gingerbread snowflakes. I love it. And this used to be a big piece of paper that was made for scrapbooking, but I have cut it for what we're doing today. So luckily, two of every pattern I've shown you, you get two pieces. So I still have a full sheet that I could use for scrapbooking. But what I wanted to show you today is featuring that paper along with this die set. So I showed you the Sophisticated Sled die set, but I'm actually not using that die set today. Today, I'm using this one here. And this is called the Perenial Postage Dies. You get a lot of dies. I'll tell you how many you get. You get 12 dies in this package, a bunch of different things that look like postage stamps, as well as this, which looks more like a tag because it doesn't have those kind of reverse scallop edges on two sides. So it's more like a tag. These are, it's like one of those things that you put on there's a name for it. If anybody can remember it, let me know. Actually, I don't know that I ever knew it. So tell me what you call that thing, but it's kind of like a reinforcer for an envelope. That's what that die is about. This one could make like the top of a tag. And this one here doesn't cut out, but is actually just kind of like the stamp thing that gets impressed on a stamp. So let me get started and I'll show you where we're going. Hey, Melanie. Hey, Nancy. All right. So when I saw this paper, well, let me start with my first thing here. I decided that I was going to make a stamp from this Sophisticated Sled stamp set. This stamp right here, I love with these ice skates. I don't know how to ice skate, but I think they make a really pretty decoration. So that's what I'm going to use here on this stamp. And I'm going to make kind of like, you know, when you go to the post office and they kind of have those retro stamps, retro looking postage stamps. That's what I'm going with here. Nancy, I can't believe you're catching me live either. Nancy and I are both Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that roomed together a couple of years ago. We met each other when we were rooming together, and we both do live things, and we hardly ever see each other on live. So good to see you, Nancy. This stamp, I'm stamping in Memento ink, and it's going to fit pretty well, I hope. Right here. Okay, perfect. I'm going to just clean off my stamp before I move on. All right. Now, I want to, let me bring in some scrap paper over here, because I want to use some of the words from this stamp set. So it's got the little let it snow that I want to use, but I want it to be kind of like, sometimes you see some words written kind of, well, you, you always see forever stamp written on these, but sometimes the words are like sideways, and that's what I wanted to go with. So I'm going to do the let it snow there, but I wanted it a little bit lighter, so I'm doing what I call decaf stamping. So I stamped it off, so it's not full strength. Get it? Decaf. And let it snow. Okay, so that is my stamp design. Then I'm going to bring in my my markers. This is a blend, and this is actually the ivory. So usually when you get blends, you get 2 different of the same color. So for instance, a light and a dark smoky slate, or a light and a dark poppy parade, or whatever the case may be. But with the ivory, you get an ivory along with a bronze. So they're not 2 shades of the same color, they're just 2 shades. But the ivory is actually kind of perfect to make what I call vintage ice skates. Because it's going to add, it's kind of like, not cream colored, I guess you'd call it ivory colored. It was well named, right? But this is what I think these skates kind of, you know, this look, this vintage look, I think they look, it's kind of the perfect combination. Okay. Oh, I went outside of the lines. All right. While you focus on that, you can see right there, I went outside of the lines. Let me grab my color lifter. I didn't do this on purpose, but I will show you. Stampin' Up! Also sells a color lifter. So the color lifter is not quite in an eraser, and it definitely works on some colors better than others. But let me show you here. See, I went outside of these lines. So I'm going to use this color lifter and just, whew. Okay, for the record, the color lifter works perfect on ivory. It doesn't work perfect on reds, I will be honest with that. But it did a nice job of taking that color right off there, so yay. All right, color lifter and ivory, 2 things you definitely need. Now, the next thing I would do is to, oh, I forgot to mention that I pre-cut this. You can tell that now, right? I pre-cut this stamp shape out of these dies here. Yeah, I did. I pre-cut it. So this piece here is the, I don't know what you call this. I'm full of things I don't know what you call tonight, but this thing that is like this, the thing that the post office cancels a stamp canceller, maybe, that it will stamp your, actually they don't stamp probably like that. They run it through a machine, and that's where it is, your postage stamp is canceled. So you're going to run this through, and it does not cut it out. It just adds an impression. So let me show you through the magic of television how that comes out. So it comes out like this here. So it's embossed in there. I think you can get an idea of the depth of that there, right? So that is my Let It Snow stamp. Okay, I'm going to add, let me unzoom you a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm going to add a layer behind it just to kind of make that pop a little bit. So I'm adding smoky slate. I think it's going to work well with this. Oh, I didn't even finish the stamp that I was doing. I didn't even finish. Here's the one that I didn't finish. So I just used smoky slate. Here, Betty, finish it. Don't do half a job here. Okay, so I'm just using the Smoky Slate Light blend. You could use the dark one. It doesn't really matter. I'm not actually shading. The blends are great for shading, but I'm just coloring tonight. I'm not actually a great shader. I know my limits, and shading is a limit of mine, but coloring, generally, I stay within the lines. Okay, so there we go. If you flip this over, can you see all this color on the back? That's the thing about blends. They color great, but they also bleed through. So that's okay, because I'm actually, you're not going to see the back, so it doesn't matter. Can you see? I don't know if you can you appreciate that there? That's the, whoa, oh, that's a lot of glue. That is the, this is what I do if I get a lot of glue. Sometimes I put it down on my paper and then turn it the other way, which is going to kind of, not neutralize, but kind of spread out the glue a little bit better. Okay, I had a half a thought about that and I never finished it. But basically, yeah, that's the impressed part of the stamp. Okay, now back to this paper. So this beautiful paper right here, I'm going to bring in this 2 sheets of this. What did I call it? Sentimental Christmas, something like that. If it's not called that, it should. Oh, Sentimental Christmas. Perfect. So I'm going to use these 2 pieces here to make some other stamps that I feel the post office should make. So what I did was that I cut 2 2-inch strips. And I brought in, let me see if I can, I brought in, yeah, this size here, which is just slightly smaller than that. And then a little square guy. So these were the 2 that I was working with. And I went through and I cut a bunch of these images from here. So even with this 2-inch strip, I was able to, this one in particular, I was doing the squares. I was able to kind of focus. Let me see if I can pull you in just a little bit. I could focus on just the candles there. Maybe like a side little bit, the 3 candles, or 1 candle, the 2 candles, whatever. I just kind of moved it around so I got a variety of candles. And then on this one here, I cut them all out, so I'll show you the cutout ones. But I use these reindeer images with this other stamp, and I'll pull in a few of the different looks that I got with that. Which was, I was able to focus on some birds. And this is just greenery here. And then probably my favorite from here is this one that's got the little reindeer, a couple of trees, and a bird. Okay? So I just cut those out. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just layering them on smoky slate. And then my... These are just some examples. Even with just those 2 inches, like, look at all the different looks that you could get from cutting out that little square, just with the 2 inches alone. So I'm going to use this one here, which has the 3 candles. And I also ran that through, so you can see that is a canceled stamp. Oh, see, that's the pretty other back side. It's a big decision which side you're going to use, that's for sure. But on this, the look that I was going for with this vintage postage stamp, definitely this was the side to choose. And I didn't show you this here, but that I also ran through and canceled that as well. Okay, let's put these back so I don't lose them. And... let's grab the next part of this card. Okay, so this card I am going to actually use Pretty Peacock paper. Let me unzoom you a little bit, or a lot. I'll unzoom you. I don't care if it's a little bit or a lot. I just need to unzoom. Okay, there we go. Okay. Hey, Dawn. Thanks for joining me. I chose the color from here. This is Pretty Peacock. Hang on. Grab my bone folder. This is just a half a sheet of cardstock. And I think it's going to work really nicely. I know it's going to work nicely because Stampin' Up! Put this color in here already. So it's definitely going to match. All right. But I wanted to use a white background. And so I was choosing between snowflakes or I don't know what we call this. It's exposed brick, distressed brick, something along those lines. Something about brick. I call it oozy mortar. And the reason I call it that is because depending on which way you use this, the mortar can be oozing out of the brick, or on this side, the mortar is pressed into the brick. So you could use it either way, but this is my oozy mortar embossing folder, which is kind of like a distressed brick. It's probably called something like distressed brick. So that's actually the one I'm going to use. You could use snowflakes, but I think I'm going to go with the oozy mortar. And I guess we have to decide if we're going to make this a horizontal card or a vertical card. Let me show you what I'm thinking, and then I'll have you vote. How does that sound? Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can get a better idea of where we're going. So the general idea is that I am going to kind of scatter these. So they're going to be kind of like they've just sort of landed, right? Just like a bunch of stamps on a piece of paper. So I can either do vertical or I can do horizontal. So my bricks will change, but nothing else will change. So my bricks will be horizontal or my bricks will be vertical. I can do either way. So you let me know if you want me to do vertical or horizontal. And while I wait for that answer, I'm going to kind of prep this designer series paper, this embossed paper. I'm going to pull in my smoky slate and a blending brush. I don't wash my blending brushes every time. You can. There's no need to do that. No one should do that, actually. If I'm honest, nobody should be washing every time. But you can if you want to, if you've got a lot of color on there. I'm just going to stamp some of this color right onto my glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, you could just use it. You could just stamp this onto your scrap paper. And it's just so that you get a much softer look. If you don't, if I go directly onto here, I'm going to get a big blob. And often I will find ways to cover it, but if you can avoid that blob, even better. Okay, so I got a couple of horizontals and a vertical. Okay, so we're going to go with horizontal because I've got more of those, but know that your opinion matters to me, Maureen. You didn't win, but know that it does matter to me. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and pull, oh, see that? It's pretty dark. That's okay. I'm going to, there'll be enough to cover it up. I'm not worried. And the reason that I'm adding this is because this paper, this designer series paper, kind of has this, it does have a vintage look to it. And so it's not white, it's not stark white. And I feel like by using this, by kind of messing this up a little bit, distressing this a little bit, I think it kind of fits the card better. It's not, while there is like white in it, it's almost like a, I don't know, like a blue white or a gray white. So I think that this is a good way to deal with it. So, okay. You know what I'm going to do? I've actually already made a horizontal one. I'm going to go back. And so I have a sample of both to show you. So Maureen, I told you your opinion matters, and it definitely does. I'm going to work with 2 of these, and then you can see them at the end, and you can judge what you like the best. Okay, so I just have to decide like how these are going to go on here. I don't want to cover this little bird, but I also don't want to cover the little reindeer, and kind of the focal point is this little guy here. Yeah, well, the bird's going to get covered. It's just the way it goes. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to put these a little crooked, but know that on the other card I'm going to show you, yeah, know that at the end, I'm going to show you a sample that is not crooked, because I know for some of you, crooked is a problem. You know who you are. I know who you are. We're all okay with that. But crooked is a problem for some of you. So I'm going to show you another sample. Nancy is talking about this DSP. It really does lend itself to looking like a postage, to really looking like a postage stamp, doesn't it? I feel like it. And I'm sticking it off the edges just a smidge. See how that goes right over the edge? It's going to stay within the borders of my card, but to me it really looks like I kind of threw everything on there, like everything just sort of landed where it landed. And so I'm okay with that, right? Like I kind of like the look of it going off an edge a little bit. So these two I have adhered down. This one here I'm going to use my dimensionals, which are across the room. I swear this is the story of my life. I can prep all day long and everything I need will be across the room. I think it's just the way it is. Okay, so I'm just using, these are dimensional edges. They are still dimensionals. Do you ever hear that phrase, broken crayon still drawer? Well, it's a very deep phrase actually, but dimensional edges still pop. So there we go. Okay, so I'm just putting these on here, and I'm going to put this here, which will go, oh, perfect. Look at that. The little bird you can still see, and the candles you can still see, and it just kind of looks like everything just sort of landed there, right? All right, that's that. I am going to put this paper on the inside. I'm actually going to, you know what, I'm going to go in and just add a little bit of, I'm going to grunge it up just a little bit. You're probably not going to be able to see on camera what I'm doing to this because it's a little bit, it's very, very subtle, but it's just keeping it from being completely white, which is the way I want to go. And I probably should use some words from this set. Okay. Hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. Let's decorate the season with happiness. I feel like let's decorate the season with happiness is what I'm going to use. So, these are photopolymer stamps. If you're new to photopolymer stamps, they can be put on a diagonal. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes you have a stamp that is too big to put, down. For instance, I'm going to show you in 1 second. Let me see if hopefully that, yeah, I'm going to call that straight. See this here? I would have had to use a really big block if I didn't put it on diagonal. So go ahead, go diagonal. It doesn't really matter. As long as your whole image, if your whole image is on the flat part of the stamp, then you are good to go. All right, so let's get rid of that. This is going to go on the inside of the card. Now, I haven't prepared an envelope here, but I have been recently really inspired by my friend Joanna, who is always decorating her envelopes. And I feel like that would really, really elevate this card if I decorated my envelope with some of the paper that was used for one of the stamps there. I think that would be really cool. So I'm not going to now, but but I promise that would be a really cool thing. I put a fair amount of glue on the back because I have embossed this image. Whenever you're embossing an image, there's lots of nooks and crannies, so you really probably want to add some extra adhesive on the back. And for me, my extra adhesive is, my go-to extra adhesive is always green glue. Okay, so this could be done and could be fine. I actually think it's really, I like vintage. I like retro. Interesting. Both are old, but very different. And if you like that, I think you will enjoy this paper. And purchasing this paper goes to a good cause. So that is great news. But we're not done yet. We're going to add one little more thing to pop this up, and that is these white loose snowflakes. I should have looked where you can find them in your catalog. They're in the mini catalog. Where's my mini catalog? Grab a mini catalog and see real quickly. I actually don't know where these are in the catalog. And the accessory section of the catalog is a little... nope. Embellishments. Where are we? White snowflakes are on page 33. Okay, if you can't find things, you can check the index, which is the very end of your mini catalog. It often will point you to where you want to be. Not always. If I'm being honest, not always. Okay. Here it is. Okay, so it comes with like a super cute, here they are. These white snowflakes, number 3 right there. You get, it doesn't say how many, 9 grams of loose white snowflakes for $8. And this is what they look like. There's a lot of them. And I don't really know how to describe them. They're kind of, they're a little bit soft. They're not sticky, right? So you're going to have to find a way to stick them down or use them in like, you could put them in a shaker card. That'd be a really cool way to use these. I'm just going to use my green glue. That definitely green glue holds down nearly anything. But they're kind of like, okay, I know what to compare it to. Fondant. If anybody bakes and you know like when fondant is used for cakes, it's kind of that thickness and kind of feels sort of like that. Don't eat these. But they feel a little bit squishy. I don't know. Rubbery is not the right word, but a little bit squishy, I guess I call it. Okay, so I'm going to throw a few of these on because this is definitely going to elevate this card. So I'm going to throw on like 5. And the reason I'm doing 5 is they always say to put odd numbers. By they, I mean people that know. It's not necessarily me. I don't know a lot, but I know when I like a snowflake. So, okay, so I'm going to use, let me put a few of these. I'm just going to throw them on my desk so you can get an idea of sort of what they look like. A couple of them are like half snowflakes. Not going to use those. Not for this anyway. And they come in different sizes. Can you see the different sizes here? Got like teeny ones. It's going to have to go on a smaller blob of glue. This works fantastic for it. This, what do we call this? Picker-upper thing. Are these all sort of seem, okay, it looks like they come in just 2 sizes. I thought there was more. I was wrong. 2 sizes. All right, so we're going to call them, let's call it medium and large. I was at a number of coffee shops this weekend, and nobody in the coffee shop calls anything small. I think you feel better if you're paying for a medium or a large. So we'll call these snowflakes medium and large. Okay, so I'm using 5. I've scattered them throughout this. If you're wondering if these would cost more, I'm going to go with probably not. I'm going to mail this without adding any extra postage. The reason is I feel like they kind of squish through a machine. I don't feel like they add any more bulk to this than adding a dimensional. So I don't think I'm putting the machine at risk. The stamp, whatever, the machine at the post office. I feel like it's fine if I put this in. I don't want to break any post office machinery, right? Like that's not the goal. So if I have something that is hard and raised, I definitely will buy the stamp, the non-machinable stamp. But for something like this, I don't think you need it. Okay, the one last thing that I'm going to add to this is a little bit of Wink of Stella. Now, I will tell you that I tried this before. It does add a little shimmer to it, but it takes a long time to dry. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to be making these on the way out the door, right? So I usually, I don't know if you can appreciate the beauty of Wink of Stella, but it's very glistening and beautiful. I usually squeeze a little bit out onto a block and then just add it to whatever I'm adding it to. This is going to add, now, I haven't actually, my green glue has not dried yet, so these are moving around a little bit. But to me, it adds kind of that, again, kind of that vintage goldy, glistening, old-fashioned Christmas look. I don't know if you can appreciate it, and it's definitely subtle, but it adds a little bit more, I think. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. By the way, when I'm done with this, I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe that right off, and it's good as new. Okay, so here is a vertical form, a vertical sort of more freestyle form where everything's just kind of plopped on there, kind of landed on there. And then I'll bring in my original that I made, which was the horizontal, which is a little bit more, precise. Things aren't hanging off the side of the card on this one. They are where they belong. So let me know what look you prefer. Do you like kind of the little bit more of a free flow, boom, all my stamps ended up here, or if you like things a little bit more organized here. I'd also like to know if you have ever tried the Ivory, and if you own the Ivory Blend, have you ever thought to use it as this kind of look, right? Almost like an eggshell kind of look. Alrighty, so let me just bring in here. I'm going to zoom out just a little. Whoops, wrong direction. Zoom out just a little bit. If you've seen anything here tonight that you say, yes, I do need that, you can go to my website, which is at bettyboop.stampinup.net, and here is my easy to remember September code, EKBFVKJU. Not easy to remember. If you place an order for less than $150, if you use that code, I greatly appreciate it. All right, let me see. I got a couple of opinions here. Lynn is liking the vertical free flow, and Melanie is liking the horizontal because you can see the DSP more. I think you're probably right, Melanie, because you can see that little bird for sure. He is definitely, and he's a cutie. Look at him. He's a cutie. If you cut your stamps correctly. I treat them like they're stamps. If you cut your paper, you can focus on two little birds. This is really, really sweet paper. And like I said, it's called Sentimental Christmas, and $3 from every package goes to help with children's literacy, which is a great cause, right? So you can feel good. Get yourself 2 packages. You can feel good about it. Okay, more coming with this paper, but that is it for me tonight. Let me quickly flip you around. Where's my flippy button? Literally there. Sometimes it's like I've never done this before. Every time I go on here, I feel like I've never seen these things before. In any case, thank you for joining me on my Monday Night Live. I hope to see you next Monday night. If you are not yet a member of my VIP group, it's very easy to become a member. Not that you're any less important, but it is an easy application. Literally, just write to me. Just leave me a message and say, I want to be a member of your VIP group, and I will add you to my group. But I've got a couple more cards that I want to show you this week. If you're a member of the VIP club, or the VIP group, it's a Facebook group, and I'll add you to that, and you'll get to see even more moving forward with this stamp set and with this amazing package of paper. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any questions, leave them. I'm happy to respond to that. And yeah, I'll see you next Monday at 7:30. See you guys later. Bye.